Hey everybody, and welcome to MoodTube. I'm your host, Paul Malamud. What an awesome first week of the NFL season. Every game seemed to go down to the wire and was an absolute thriller. There's one thing that became very apparent to me during this week's slate of games, and that's that the NFL is only in the beginning stages of its golden era. With all the young players in the league and with all the exciting college players soon to enter it, there's no telling where the NFL can go. In week 1 of MoodTube, I went 10-5 with my picks. Now, I aim to get every pick right, but no analyst is perfect. So seeing how one of my favorite movies of the past few years is Silver Linings Playbook, I'm going to give you the silver lining of the 5 games I got wrong. We'll start with the Eagles versus the Redskins. I wasn't sure what to expect out of the Chip Kelly offense in the NFL. Well, it seems we can expect a whole lot. It might be the perfect offense for Michael Vick, Shady McCoy, and the rest of the Eagles offense. And if Vick can stay healthy, there's no telling where the Eagles can go. Bengals versus the Bucks. I said I love the Bengals offense, and I still do. A.J. Green caught 2 touchdown passes and led 2 of my fantasy teams to victories. Even more, Andy Dalton was a perfect 10 for 10 throwing to his tight ends Jermaine Gresham and Tyler Eifert. The rest of the AFC North teams lost last week, and I still like the Bengals to win the division. Dolphins beating the Browns. The silver lining that I can take from this is that my belief that Mike Wallace will not work out in Miami seems to be correct. Now, it's only the first week of the season, but going 1 catch for 15 yards, I think I'm going to be right. Titans versus Steelers. I said that Jake Locker had to prove something to me, and he didn't. This game was more about the Steelers than it was about the Titans. However, I was glad to see that my former favorite Jet, Jericho Cotchery, was still finding his way into the end zone. I wish he never left. And last, but certainly not least, the 49ers versus the Packers. In my eyes, with the exception of the Packers and their fans, everyone who witnessed this game was a winner. It was a thriller. 2 great teams going at each other, doing everything they could to get the W. Now, I know it's a dirty play, but I love Clay Matthews tackling Colin Kaepernick out of bounds. It reminds me of old school smash mouth football, and that's my favorite kind of ball. Even more, I love Kaepernick's response, saying that if your plan is to intimidate him, well, good luck. Now, I said I wasn't going to go on a Jets rant every week, but there's no telling when the next time I'll get the chance to talk about a Jets win is, so I'm going to take advantage of it while I can. I really think that this may be the Jets' best defense under Rex Ryan. The past few years, the run defense has been bad, but that wasn't the case on Sunday. The Jets held Doug Martin, one of the best running backs in the league, to 65 yards on 24 carries. It gets even more impressive when you realize that 17 of those yards came on 1 carry. Furthermore, the Jets' defensive line could be special. Muhammad Wilkerson lived up to all the hype that he received this offseason. And Sheldon Richardson dazzled in his professional debut, recording 7 tackles and a half sack. What I find amazing is that they did this all without Quinn Coples, who I think is going to turn into a star as soon as he returns from injury. It certainly wasn't all good in New York, and you can say whatever you want about them deserving to win, but this is Silver Linings Week on MoodTube, and a win is a win. Now, after going 10-5 last week, a few viewers suggested that I focus on picking the spread and only choose 5 games, so I'm going to give it a try. The first game that I'm picking is Jets versus the Patriots on Thursday night, with the Jets getting 12 points. I'm taking the Jets. Hold on a second. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Moody, you're just being a homer. Well, that's not the case. The Patriots' pass offense was sloppy last week. Tom Brady had very poor chemistry with his young receivers. Their saving grace was their running back, Shane Vereen, who, by the way, is on the IR. And if Stephen Ridley can't pick up the pace, I don't see them taking the Jets down by 12 points. As long as the Jets' defense plays well and Geno Smith doesn't become a turnover nightmare, there's no way the Jets lose that game by 12 points. I'm taking the Jets. Saints versus the Bucks, with the Saints getting 4 points. I'm taking the Saints. The Bucs looked atrocious last week against the Jets. They played sloppy football all across the board. The Saints, on the other hand, looked good in a hard-fought win over the Falcons. I think they're going to come out and steamroll the Bucs. So, I'm taking the Saints. Seahawks over 49ers, with the Seahawks giving up 2.5 points. The 49ers looked great last week, and they might go on to win every game for the rest of the season, but they're not winning this week in Seattle. The Seahawks are coming off a hard-fought win against the Panthers, and it's just too tough to go in and beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I'm taking the Seahawks, giving up 2.5 points. Cowboys versus Chiefs. The Chiefs looked great against the Jaguars, that is, whereas the Cowboys won a very tough game against the Giants. They played a very opportunistic defense under new coordinator Monty Kiffin, and I think they're going to come out getting 3 points and beat the Chiefs. I take the Cowboys. And lastly, Monday night, I'm taking the Bengals over the Steelers, with the Bengals giving up 7 points. The Steelers were bad last week, and they just lost All-Pro center Marquise Pouncey for the year. That's not going to be easy shoes to fill. I think the Bengals are going to come out and turn what should be a hard-fought AFC North game into a little bit of a blowout. I think the Bengals win by 10, and I'm taking them. Now I'd like to introduce you to a new segment of MoodTube. It's called Bet Moody. Every week I'm going to choose a fan of a team that I think is going to lose, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to give them the chance that if I'm wrong, they get to choose something very embarrassing that I have to do during the next week's episode. This week's bet is with Crawford Clark, a huge Giants fan from New Jersey. If I'm wrong and the Broncos don't win the Manning Bowl, then next week I'm going to have to do MoodTube in a set of very beautiful, very manly pink pajamas. Not so much on the manly. I hope I'm not wrong, because pink isn't my color. So thanks for tuning in to week 2 of MoodTube. Make sure to turn in next week, because I'm going to have a special guest co-host. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out the tube, because you got to see Mood.